Hello and welcome back to Nobody's News, the only gaming news show on the internet brought to you by the guy with the droopy eye. And today we're just going to be doing gameplay, and I might be doing that for the next foreseeable future, as my camera actually has started to freak out, so I'd rather not take the risk and have it go all wacky in the middle of a recording, and just talk to you guys like this. Anyway, let's jump right into the news. Today's going to be a much slower day, but I'm also going to be doing a lot more opinions. So if you're a person who doesn't like opinions, please see yourself out. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about the Avengers game. We saw gameplay of that the past week. I'm also going to be talking about the Pokémon Presents. But we have a small little bit of good quickie news this week, starting with the Animal Crossing summer update, bringing in swimming and a bunch of other stuff that looks like I'm going to be getting back into Animal Crossing here fairly soon. Because, gosh, that just looks like a good time. It looks so fun. It looks nice and calming again, and I feel like I need that again. I'm at that point where I need it. So that's up on the docket. The Steam summer sale has begun. If you haven't already blown your money, go check it out. There's a few good deals. I just bought quite a few games and probably will pick a few more up before the entirety of our Steam sale is over this year. We've had a couple of Pokemon Directs within the past couple of weeks, which has been pretty awesome. And they announced the new Pokemon Snap game. That's going to be sweet. It's under construction, so I don't expect it till probably next year, if not later. Nintendo and Bandai Namco, those are the two working behind this one, so it's a big wait and see, but it looks amazing. It kind of looks like what Sword and Shield should have looked like, in my opinion, and it seems to be a generally stated opinion that it looks gorgeous, but at the same time, I'm just happy to see that it's coming. So, I'll be happy to jump into that one. Also, they haven't announced any new, Pokemon games, and we'll get into that in the main story for the Pokemon Presents. Outside of that, I don't want to touch the drama that is going on in the gaming community, and that seems to be more of what's going on currently, so kind of a slow news week, and let's get right into it. Oh, one more quick thing. Last of Us has just completely blown out of the water sales records. Sony officially came out and said that they had sold over 4 million copies in 3 days. I did pick it up. I do plan to do a review on it here in the next little while, so stay tuned to the channel for that. It will probably be one of the last reviews of the game that is, in my opinion, major. And I'm doing that for a reason. One, because I want to make sure I beat the game in full. And two, I kind of want to wait for all of the stuff to die down so I can give my honest opinions on the game. But into the big stuff for the week, we have the Pokemon Presents. This one from the past week, not the one that had Pokemon Snap in it. I feel like they should have rolled these two together. The one with Pokemon Snap and this one should have been rolled together and not separated out like it is. I feel like that would have just helped with the overall anger and frustration about it. But so what happened is there will be a new Pokemon game, but not traditional. It's more Pokemon MOBA-esque, and that is kind of where we're seeing the big amount of problem. The community just did not receive that well, and especially when they heard that it's being co-developed by Tencent, one of the Tencent companies. Granted, they own League of Legends and stuff like that, so I trust that they can make good games. I've played Call of Duty Mobile, which is a pay to start or free to start game, but at the same time, it is riddled with microtransactions, but it feels pretty good. So, I can understand the overall anger and frustration, and I even tweeted about this, that I understand why people are upset, but I think it kind of looks good, and I'm kind of interested to try it. MOBAs aren't my cup of tea, just in general, but I'd be willing to give this one a shot, strictly because I feel like having these different styled Pokemon battles would be nice to kind of mix things up, but also make a headway into getting more people interested in Pokemon in general. I'm fairly new to the Pokemon community, so maybe I'm speaking out of line here. But generally, I think it looks good, and I don't think that, even if it is completely riddled with microtransactions, which would be the biggest turnoff to it, that it's gonna be bad. I feel like it's going to be a decent game. I mean, we have the Pokemon Cafe game, which seems to be doing decently well, and I understand that there is a need and a want for the new Pokemon whatever to be announced, whether it's a new Let's Go styled game, whether it's a new main series line. Just they want something more traditional, and I understand. But, with COVID and everything, this might be the best that they can do this year. Turning out games year after year as it is already bad. And people didn't really receive Sword and Shield great. They really critiqued it really bad, said it looked bad. So maybe these are buffer games that are easier to develop, that we can just give a nice little bit of headway to while they make something great for the first full-on, probably developed for the Switch title. Like, when I look at Sword and Shield, I think it's a pretty good game. I feel like they did a lot of great things, but I feel like it was shifted development from the 3DS to the Switch. So that's where a lot of our, complaints on textures and stuff are. I feel like it's going to be a real wake-up call when we see the first fully for Switch developed Pokemon game. I feel like that's going to be a thing that comes out next year, or we might even hear about it sometime later this year. Who knows? But I feel like the hate that the overall presents got was not justified, but it was also avoidable. If the Pokemon Company would have just simply rolled the two presents together instead of doing one week and one another, it would have made things a lot simpler and a lot easier. Because imagine having the big 10-cent presentation, people aren't so happy with it, and then closing out with Pokemon Snap. I feel like that would have just fixed everything, or at least more so. But I don't know the factors at play with that one. It may have been a thing where like Tencent wanted it to be its own deal. Who knows? But I feel like just in general, it could have been avoided. But I'm actually kind of excited to give it a shot. So, wow me Tencent, wow me Pokemon Company, let's do it this year. And jumping into the other story, which I would like to talk about a little bit, is the new Avengers game coming to us from Square. And they did a gameplay reveal a couple of kind of days ago, showed it off, stuff like that. It's still not selling me, and that's just kind of upsetting, because I feel like it could be something so good, and I want to talk about, is this possibly the biggest missed opportunity in gaming? Because there aren't many superhero licensed games that come out much anymore, and Spider-Man was a big hit. Rocksteady did well with Batman, and these games are few and far between. They were more common back when they were tie-in games, but this one's a standalone title, and it's just not making the same ripple effect as a Spider-Man or the hype around the next Rocksteady title. I don't quite know how Square has missed such the big opportunity. Avengers, when they announced this game, was hype as hell. And I understand where they're coming from. They can't, use the likenesses of Captain America, these actors that are big. They can't use those likenesses. They have to create their own. But it's how did you not capitalize on this more? It just doesn't look that interesting, just in general. But you get to play as the Hulk, Thor, Captain America, all these characters. that are just amazing on film, amazing in comics, and somehow it's just not registering with a vast majority of the gaming population. I don't understand. Looking at the gameplay video, generally it just kind of looks I guess. My question is, should this game have been put off and waited to be revealed so it could be changed up, modified, look great and have a ton going on for the PS5 and Xbox Series X exclusively? I feel like this would have been a title that, instead of bridging the gap between generations, should have just been a next-gen exclusive. Strictly because they could have done so much more. Because, like I said, it doesn't look interesting. It just doesn't look fun. It doesn't, almost feels like it doesn't sound right. It's got this weird RPG elements going on with it. And that's great and everything. And I feel like maybe I'm just missing something. But what they're showing to us, doesn't read. But imagine this for the next-gen consoles. A big Avengers game coming out from Square with particle effects everywhere, freaking Thor's lightning surrounding him and, like, shocking enemies as he just kind of walks by. He's, like, so overcharged. Something on the scale of, like, Infinity War, but a game. That's what I'm thinking this needs to be, or the trailers need to be presenting it as, but it's not showing it. It's just kind of, it almost to a degree, looks like it's going to be Destiny with an Avengers skin in the third person, which, to its credit, could be amazing. It's just not selling it to me. Also, the Hulk gets a pinstripe suit with a fedora. As they broke it down for the overall, like, progression in cosmetics, you can tell that the dev team did do their homework for the games by pulling from the comics and, quoting issues of the comics and stuff. It's still just, it's lacking in that, like, action department, and that's what's really sad. And as for the release radar, I'm lost. I'm at a loss. I don't really know of much that is coming out right now. I feel like we're in a bit of a lull between games right now. I know that to look forward a little bit, we've got Paper Mario as well as and Ghost of Tsushima on PS4, but that's not till later in July. So I feel like this week the release radar is just kind of go find something on Steam. Let me know what you end up picking up down below. And it was a shorter news video this week, but I feel like I've discussed and opened up some different areas of thought and gave my opinions on things this week. So I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please don't forget to leave us a like here on Internet Nobodies. And if you're new around here, subscribe and hit the bell. We would love to see your face almost every day for new videos. James is up for TGRS tomorrow, and I should be streaming something post the TGRS at some point Wednesday night. Thank you guys for watching again, like I said, and I will see you guys next week for Nobody's News.